Salt, little pepper.
Top chefs in top restaurants demand the best quality for their menus. Whether it's beef or chicken or fish, they know that fine stewardship shows up in finer tasting food on the plate. Here at La Folie restaurant in San Francisco, owner chef Roland Passot knows a fine fish when he sees one.
A perfect salmon for me is beautiful bright gills and also beautiful bright eyes. So it's already a great start of the day, looking at a beautiful salmon.
Roland has found a new supplier of sustainable salmon because he's concerned about the state of wild fisheries and the many problems of conventional fish farming. His new supplier is CleanFish, who go to the ends of the earth to find their salmon.
Voila.
This is the far northwest of Scotland, literally the very edge of Europe, facing the Atlantic Ocean. Here they've been fishing for hundreds of years. But recently, wild stocks have been declining, and many fishing communities have collapsed. A little over 10 years ago, the folks at Loch Duart decided to try farming salmon a whole new way. In this area of outstanding natural beauty, there was space. Fish pens could be large. The number of fish in each pen could be kept low. The tides and currents of the Atlantic would wash through the pens, keeping them clean. It was the closest thing to natural living conditions for a mature salmon. It was the perfect place to set up a new kind of salmon farm. These fish are fed by hand, so they can be constantly monitored for health and well-being. The feed comes locally from natural sources. Tastes great for the fish, if not for humans.
I'm not going to do this too often, okay?
How's it taste?
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's quite fishy.
Nick Joy is one of the founders of the Loch Duart fishery.
It's all about welfare. It's all about trying to give the animal and the fish we work with the best possible life we can. And the byproduct of that, of course, is that they return to us a whole series of things. They grow well, they look healthy, and they taste good. What I would hope you would see because of the way we farm is a greater biodiversity. So I should be able to show you seals, herons, a diversity of seabirds. We've already seen dolphins this morning. You should be able to see that all around because we're not impacting on the biodiversity here. It's probably the most beautiful area of Scotland, certainly in my view. It's unique and it's very untouched.
To maintain this operation, it takes a village, literally. Skourie has some 300 people, many of them involved in the Loch Duart operation. Indeed, the whole village is dependent on Loch Duart for its survival.
Mostly now people are employed through Loch Duart. It seems to be the biggest employer. If it wasn't for the fish farm, it would be like a ghost village. There'd be nobody here.
But this entire operation costs money. The care of the fish, the low-density pens, the higher cost of feed, the connection between the ecology and the village economy. These can only be maintained if the fish can be sold, and sold above the commodity price of industrially farmed salmon. Happily, the Loch Duart brand is already well known in Europe. Greenpeace, Freedom Food, and the French quality assurance Label Rouge have all endorsed this exceptional, sustainable method of fish farming. But what about the American market?
We were aware that the American market did see things differently. They were far more open to new ideas, far more open to the fact that someone could be doing something different and far more eager to embrace that. Despite the fact that the market was there for development and aligned towards us, we couldn't make a connection there. Then one day Tim O'Shea came along.
I came looking for a salmon operation to work with and to see if there was one I wanted to work with.
But how I got from Inverness up to Loch Duart this trip in a car on my own, first time ever here, I have no idea how I made this trip.
Tim O'Shea is the founder of CleanFish, based in San Francisco. He's bringing some of his colleagues to Loch Duart for the first time.
I'm glad I got full insurance on this car.
It's a long journey, 3 hours by car from the nearest airport. This whole area, the heart of the Scottish Highlands, has been designated a United Nations Geopark. Accompanying them is another producer member of the CleanFish Alliance, Gustavo Valdez from Guaymas in Mexico. He has come to learn what he can from the Scots. His family are considering turning to aquaculture in the Sea of Cortez.
Híjole, qué frío.
I brought Gustavo out here because I wanted to make use of the CleanFish Alliance and connect him with the best salmon farmers in the world.
Even though you may notice a significant difference in weather and you know, just the entire scenery, you'd be surprised of how much, you know, similarities there are.
In a way, this is very parallel to fishing. Actually, if you imagine that walkway over there is actually a fishing boat. Right. It just happens to hold its fish. They're very parallel, the skills, and the stubbornness, the determination, all those things that go with being a fisherman are very much the same.
The CleanFish group will spend 2 days here, understanding the detailed operations as described by Nick Joy.
What we're showing here is how to keep nets clean without using antifoulants. So if you're on another farm, you might see nets covered with a pink paint, which is designed to kill all marine growth. We don't believe in using that for a number of reasons, not least of which is all our fish live next to it. But there's a very simple method of doing it. It costs a bit more money, you have to keep empty pens.
An important process is moving the fish from one pen to another, so that the nets can be cleaned. Each of these pens is left fallow with no fish in it for 1 year in 3 to ensure the environment stays entirely healthy.
It's on the principle that we believe in, which is that what comes from the sea can go back to the sea. That's no problem. What we don't want to be doing is adding something man-made, and we don't have to this process. You come all this way to look at some fish. They're all exhibiting for you. Underneath there, they're swimming beautifully, showing themselves to you. And you think that these are, I mean, you've seen one, you've seen them all. Is that what you're trying to tell me? We're here. Yeah, but you're here, but you're not looking at them. I mean, and they'll hurt.
The well-being of the fish is the most important thing. Even the way they'll be caught will be as humane as possible.
A guy who'd seen harvesting all over the world came and saw one of ours and said it was the most humane he'd ever seen. Mostly because the people care. And though this may seem a little weird, no weirder than the way I'd like to be treated if I was in the same place.
Nick actually, in talking about salmon, went into various levels of ecstatic states, which I could recognize. And I realized this guy is a salmon. He doesn't just raise salmon. It was very, very clear he actually really loves what he does.
The entire future of fishing is at stake here. If Loch Duart's methods are truly sustainable, how fast can Gustavo and the rest of the world learn about them?
Yeah, it's good sandy bay, this one.
The biggest problem I have at the moment, and my biggest worry is, who do I hand this on to? How are we going to move this forward? I'm thrilled to see someone travel that far and then still retain that wonderful interest and passion for what we're trying to do. So what I see in Gustavo is hope.
It gives me a lot of comfort to know that there are companies out there that are telling us, hey, don't be afraid to take on this challenge. We'll be here for you, and anything that you'll need, you can always come back and we'll be here and we'll support you and we'll do anything in our power so that you can also succeed.
If somebody produces an environmentally friendly shrimp, I don't mean an organic, I just mean an environmentally friendly shrimp. If somebody does that, that's going to sell. That's going to sell big time.
Well, now you have no excuse then.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And for very good money.
Oh, you're getting in trouble, man.
For now, Loch Duart has demonstrated that the market will pay a premium for superior stewardship.
Nutritious, yeah.
Andy Bing, the other founder of the company, tests the product on Gustavo. Uncooked. This is Scottish sushi.
I had been in the industry for maybe 15 years before I'd ever eaten any raw fish, but it's changed my life. So this is 48 hours after it's harvested. Because of the low stress harvesting, it needs that to relax so you can take the fish off the bone, otherwise it's just too tight. And you get that perfect mouthfeel.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's firm, but then it melts in your mouth.
Right.
And this stuff is arriving in America 48 hours after it's harvested, so it's ready to eat.
Right. It's great. Feels great. Tastes great.
Back in San Francisco, Chef Roland Passot is ready to serve lunch. He knows his clientele won't stand for second best.
A little bit of olive oil, just put it in a pan like this. 300-degree oven, just like this, that's usually. Corn pure on a plate. As you can tell, so the idea is to keep it translucent like this, cook until medium rare. Very translucent, very beautiful. I'm going to put one here.
I loved it. I thought it was very flavorful. It really tasted like salmon.
Good evening.
Good
Bon
evening.
appetit. How's everything so far?
Fabulous. It's farmed in Scotland?
Yes.
Interesting. It's come all the way from
Beautiful,
Scotland.
clean water.
But this is as good a salmon as I've ever had.
Very good.
Thanks to CleanFish, chefs who care and everybody concerned about the future of the seas are learning they can vote with their forks and choose sustainable seafood.
That's as good as salmon gets.
Yeah. I think so.